So hello, welcome to sunny Yorkshire. I think we're in Yorkshire, and I'm here because guess what? It's new car collection day, and yeah, it's been a bit of a long day, but we've made it all the way up to Yorkshire to get something that I've wanted to get for years. I had one years ago, it was the lower powered one, and I sort of enjoyed it, and at the time I just couldn't afford to keep fixing it because then I was still paying people to fix my stuff, and so I got rid of it. And pretty much ever since then I've wanted another one, and today is the day because we bought another one. It's the more powerful version, and we're going to turn this into something a little bit special. So what is it, you might be asking? Well, I probably told you this morning when I was on the platform at the train station, but this is my 2003, new to me, Audi TT, the Quattro 225 version. It's the one with the most horsepower you can get pretty much stock, save for the special like Audi Sport ones they did, but those things are like almost collector editions, and you only get about 30 more horsepower and some fancy seats and stuff, but that'll set you back about 15,000. This wonderful shining example, lots of cars here today, this wonderful shining example only cost £1,200. It's not the cheapest because we've done that already on this channel, but this is a pretty good deal. I think there's definitely some issues with it that we're going to have to address. There's some clonking and some knocking from the front left suspension. We've got someone's definitely fiddled with the inside, so there's some new turbo boost pipes and some other things, but it sounds like it's still got a little leak. It sounds like it's sucking somewhere, either that or they've changed the wastegate or something like that. I don't know. There's lots of bodywork problems we may or may not fix. If I'm going to use it on the track, maybe I don't care. Probably bump it into some stuff. Maybe I won't do that yet. Or maybe we'll see if we can get the guys at Nidor to sort it out for me as a bit of a deal. Maybe you want to sponsor me. Anyway, going to show you around quickly, show you what we bought, and then we're going to get on the road, and it's going to take me like 6 hours and the air conditioning doesn't work, and it's really warm. Yeah, the air conditioning, I mean, I don't need air conditioning for a track car, do I? I hope not. Okay, we're going to try and do this on a busy-ish road here, but this is the beauty. Looks pretty good from this angle. We've got some issues here that we need to sort out. These headlights are really, I don't know if you can tell, but they're really like faded and scuffed, and we can definitely sort that. There is some bodywork issues pretty much everywhere on this car. The wheels are absolutely knackered, but we've got a little plan for those. The brand new tyres, these are probably worth about 350 quid just on their own. Yeah, bodywork, you don't want to see all that, it's just a problem. I mean, we're missing most of the lacquer on the rear here. I can't fix that, that's a paint job. Need a new badge, but it's just a good view from this angle. And let me show you inside. So in here, it's pretty good. We can definitely sort these seats out. They're a little bit shiny, but that's not a problem. But everything else in here, we've got the all-important manual. Excuse all my crap here for filming this, but we've got the all-important manual because if it's a track car, that's what we need. Obviously, I want to practice my heel and toe and things like that, so manual it is. This side says Bose. The other side does not, so I'm not sure about that. And I didn't show you, rubbish back seats, pointless. Let's take you and show you the business end. Squeaky door, giant bit of rust. Here we go. This is the usually pretty reliable BAM engine. It's a 1.8 turbo, and this is the one you want. It's got slightly more horsepower and some uprated bits to make 225 brake. The other one, it's also got a better four-wheel drive system and stuff like that. The other 180 with the, as noted by the single exhaust on the back, is less powerful, has less stuff, and has less tunability. So this we can definitely fiddle with to get it somewhere in the region of 300 maybe horsepower. We'll see. Somebody's definitely fiddled around here though, because this Forge Racing, Forge Motorsport stuff is not standard. It's super hot under here. I haven't really been that far, so that's exciting. Just been in the sun. Anyway, not a lot to see, but we ultimately went for this one because this is a much lighter engine, and as you can see, it's pretty far over the front wheels there. And the V6, which you might think, oh, V6, more power. That one, less good for the track. You can't really tune it. It's naturally aspirated. There's no turbo, really, you can't map it. You know, putting a turbo is a pain in the backside. So we'll be able to get more out of this 1.8 than we will out of that 3 litre pseudo V6. So we've gone for this. And, you know, if I do bin it, I'm not going to be crying all the way to the bank. Anyway, let's hit the road and get on the way back down to the south coast. It's going to take a bit of a while. Take you on the journey with me. Let's hope it gets there. So, you might be wondering why a TT? I could get a lot of cars for this sort of money. Why would I get a TT and use it for the track? It's pretty heavy. It's not rear wheel drive. You can't have fun like that with it. You know, there's plenty of people that would say I'm totally nuts. It's a hairdresser's car, like, whatever. There's a million things you'd probably say if this wasn't the car for you. But I think there's a few good reasons why this is the one. Because, okay, first of all, I bought it and I had one years ago and I loved it, and it drove so well. It's already low to the ground. You already feel connected to the road. Like the seats are hugging. They're not too padded, so you feel the bumps, you know, enough that you can tell what the car's doing. But also, like, the main reason is they're cheap. Like, if I decide to have a moment one day because I'm going faster than I should and I bin it into the barrier, well, it's only cost me, you know, a couple of grand maybe. And normally, if you've ever done track days, a track day insurance plan or whatever for, say, your Porsche 911 is going to come with an excess that is about the same as that. So either way, you're in for 2 grand if you bin it. And at least this way, the Porsche isn't on the line. But also, you can do quite a lot of stuff with these cars. They made hundreds of thousands of them. There's lots of aftermarket parts we can get. This 1.8 BAM engine they used, VW used a lot at the turn of the century, so with that turbo we can tune it. We can definitely get to near 300 horsepower. I don't know if we can get quite there. There are some changes you can make to the transmission. There's this weird little plug thing that I have discovered. You put into the Haldex, the clutch at the back, the clutch pack that drives the rear wheels when you want that, and that makes it 50-50 four-wheel drive, like, all the time, instead of just occasionally when it feels like it, sometime after it thought you were sliding. And you can do suspension. The most important thing after you know, sorting out your reliability and getting some good tyres and that sort of stuff, the next most important thing is actually not the power for a track day. The next most important thing is to get a solid suspension setup, something like some coilovers that you can adjust. Those will be fantastic for the speed and handling of this car, which already handles really good for a, you know, semi-sports car. So yeah, that's what we're going to do with it. get some coilovers, and then I'll probably give it a tune. We're going to do that 300 horsepower, maybe change the air filter, a few other bits, the turbo inlet pipe, and a bunch of stuff like that. We may do some deletes of some things. The throttle response on this car is a bit flaky. There's a valve that like decides how much throttle you can have, and we'll probably just get rid of it. Nobody needs that. Then it was at this point in the trip that something started to go wrong. I noticed that I was running a bit warm, and also I had an engine light on, and I can't actually tell on this car why. It just has, you know, the money light, as they call it. So the engine light came on while I'm on the highway, and I had to try and work out what was going wrong, because the engine did not feel correct. So I decided to pull into the next services and try to find out what was going on, and I forgot to take the camera with me, left that in the car, because I was just kind of worried that I wouldn't make it all the way home at this point. And a quick dipstick of the oil showed that I really had absolutely none in the car. Somewhere I had either lost it or clearly forgot to check it when I bought the car. And so the next stop was the very closest, let's say, Halfords that I could find to get a bit of oil for the car, and hopefully this will get me all the way home. From then on, I did keep checking the oil. There was no aerolite on the dash at all to say that I was low on oil, but I did keep checking it all the way home, and it seemed to be fine. So it must have just been that, like a plum, I didn't actually check that there was oil in it when I bought it, which probably would have been a good indication that it wasn't a great car. But we made it all the way home. Back to me with the story. So the reason we got this model, they're pretty much all 1.8 turbo engines, apart from the few V6s that they made, which really wasn't that many in the grand scheme of things. They only came along much later. And as I mentioned earlier, those things are pretty heavy, and you don't really get any more power out of them. Yeah, okay, they sound good, but it's a big heavy engine to stick over the front wheels of a pseudo four-wheel drive car, so we're not going to do that. This 1.8 is the way to go. So you can buy this one, the 225, which is a super popular model. The higher horsepower ones have got the same hardware, it's just a map. But because of some special sport thing, they're very expensive. You get different seats, that's about it really. So yeah, buy this one, it's pretty cheap, do a map, do a few things to it. It's pretty reliable, as long as it's looked after. You know, it'll take quite a lot of track use, as long as it's been well maintained. And then you should have some fun. I think it's going to be a great car. Now I've driven all the way to Yorkshire to get it. Yeah, nearly didn't, because it was definitely not as good as the guy might have advertised it. So we are going to have to deal with some rust issues, and suspension, and paintwork, and wheels, and the air conditioning. I've decided I need that because it's hot in here. There's a lot of stuff I've got to do, but it will look good when it's done. Yeah, I don't know if someone's fiddled around with this car already, because there's already like a sucking noise coming from the engine. So it's either a fault, or it sounds like someone's fiddled with the air intake or the turbo manifold or something. And it does pick up quite well. Plus there's a bunch of pipes that have definitely been changed. So I wonder if someone's already had a go at mapping it and fiddling with some of those extra bits, because it's not a slouch as it is. If you keep those revs high, it's definitely got a bit about it. Enough to go around the track and give yourself a fright, I'm sure. So that's it guys, we've got it back, and now for the fun bit, and that is fixing it, which is probably going to be more effort than I want it to be. Yeah, but I am looking forward to getting this on the track and using it as a track car, because it's got a great 1.8 litre turbo engine that's really highly modified, loads of parts available, and if I bin it, I'm not going to be totally sad. I mean, I'd be a little bit sad, but not like as sad as I would be if I took the Porsche there and binned that on a track. So I think we'll start with something cheap. But it remains to be seen whether this was a smart purchase or not, because it was advertised, as you saw earlier, for more than I paid for it. So I only paid 700 bucks for it, but I have found a few things on the way home that are not very good with it, and I don't know whether that's a good way to start on a track car, is with a car that's already not great. So maybe this was a good purchase, maybe not. You know what to do. Comment down below, tell me whether you think I got it right or not, and like and share and subscribe if you want to see more of this car, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey, fresh air. Aircon doesn't work. The gauge is working though now.